Imported expired food items seized at Nimule have been destroyed. Authorities in Western Baragazal launches a massive campaign to remove illegal checkpoints. Government inaugurates correctional facilities in Malakal to foster law and order. Good evening and welcome to Ssbc News coming to you live from Juba. My name is Jacqueline Perino. Vice President Taban Dengai and Deputy Representative of the UN Secretary General Guang Kong discussed addressing violence in parts of the country and judicial reforms to ensure accountability. The meeting also touched on the implementation of the peace agreement.
We discussed about the implementation of the revitalized peace agreements and also how we can support the governments to address the subnational violence, including strengthen the local justice chain, and so that the accountability issue, one of the key drivers for the communal violence.
The Tumaini Initiative Chief Mediator General Lazarus Samboya briefed Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng Dimabur on the progress of the Tumaini peace talks in Nairobi. Speaking after the meeting, General Samboya says he updated the Vice President on the outcome of the meeting with President Salva Kiir Mayardit over the dialogue between government and holdout groups.
We had a very interactive discussion with the Vice President over the reason why we were here. I came here with President Ruto yesterday to follow on the Tumaini initiative, and I was briefing the Vice President on the outcome of the meetings with the presidents had yesterday, and so to bring her up to speed, she asked us to continue with the process and to stick to the timings, if possible, of the 2 weeks together to Tumaini initiative.
The Presidential Envoy for the Great Lakes region, Dr. James Pitia Morgan, and Hao Zia, the UN Special Envoy for the Great Lakes region, discussed reactivation of the Nairobi-led peace process between the DRC Congo and M23 rebels to end the ongoing conflict in eastern DRC. The two diplomats also discussed inclusion of African Union in the peace process. Dr. Morgan says President Kiir is committed to tackling pressing issues facing the region. The UN Special Envoy to Great Lakes region says he is in Juba to discuss with the government of South Sudan on ways to engage the warring parties in DRC to end the conflict.
This is an effort that was put by His Excellency the President of the Republic, not only as the chairperson of East African Community. All of us know that DRC Congo and South Sudan, we share a very wide border. So the peace in DRC Congo is a peace for South Sudan. And that is what His Excellency the President really want to see into that peace should prevail in this area.
L'Est de la RDC et le reste de la région du Grand Lac. Et dans ce cadre, nous apprécions hautement.
And in this regard, we very much appreciate the role played by His Excellency President Salva Kiir as chair of the East African Community and his strong determination to ensure enhanced coordination between the Nairobi and the Luanda process.
Le processus de Nairobi et le processus de Luanda.
The Deputy Special Representative of the UN Secretary General Guang Kong met with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Ruben Madol on Thursday to discuss progress made in the implementation of the peace agreement and issues related to human rights in the country. In a statement to the media, Deputy Minister Joseph Malek says the meeting focused on transitional justice, accountability and reconciliation. The UN official commended the ministry on the progress on Judiciary Reform Commission and the passing of bills of the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, Healing and Compensation by the National Transitional Legislative Assembly.
The first issue is about extrajudicial killing that happened in Warab using illegal instruments to execute some people without fair trial. And this Green Book bring a lot of mess and a lot of violation of principle of natural justice. Number two, also talk about human rights related to National Security Act that recently become act. UNAMIS gave assurance to support Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs to conduct touring across the sub-nations to see a lot of issues and to address them to the nation, issue violating of human rights.
We discussed about the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement. I congratulated the Honorable Minister about the recent progress on the Judicial Reform Commission's recommendations and also the passing of the bills by the parliaments of the Commission Truth, Reconciliation, Healing and the Compensation Reparation.
The Public Financial Management Oversight Committee meeting, chaired by the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Marial Dongrin Ater, listened to presentation on a significant increase in the 9 oil revenue collections by the Deputy Commissioner General of the South Sudan Revenue Authority, Albino Dak Otho. During the meeting, Finance Minister Dr. Marial Dongrin Ater briefs the meeting regarding the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget, which is in its second reading on Tuesday after scrutiny made it to the final stages, which he said is likely to take place next week. The Public Financial Management Oversight Committee was established in February 2020 primarily to promote transparency and accountability in South Sudan's financial sector.
On Tuesday, we had the second reading of the national legislation, and we hope by next week, the third and the final reading will take place. Other than that, I would like to...
Let's go for a short break and we shall be back. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching Ssbc News coming to you live from Juba. South Sudan and Ethiopia discussed operationalization of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the two countries on enhancing air transport. During a meeting in Juba, the Minister of Transport, Madud Biarial, and Ethiopian Ambassador, Nabil Mahdi Abdullahi, expressed mutual interest in implementing effective measures to advance civil aviation. Minister Madud stated that South Sudan would soon have control of its airspace for effective implementation of the agreement. Ambassador Nabil expresses Ethiopia's willingness to support South Sudan's effort in expanding its civil aviation sector.
Issue that we discussed, which is also very important, is how the South Sudan will benefit from the giant Ethiopian airline in establishing South Sudan airline when time comes and when we South Sudan receive the management and control of its sovereign airspace. And we are going to enter into a partnership with Ethiopian Airline when we actually establish our airline, because training and also management of the airline will actually be able when we make partnership with the Ethiopian Airline.
We discussed basically on key issues like operationalization of the MOE signed, especially last year. Last year there was MOE signed between the two aviations institutions of South Sudan and Ethiopia. We are committed to expedite the operationalization and at the same time to sharing the experience of Ethiopian Airlines. Currently, Ethiopian Airlines, the largest airline.
Briefed the Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism, Rizik Zakaria Hassan, on wildlife and tourism potentials in Unity State. During the meeting, Minister Rizik.
The richness of the Unity State with wildlife, that is the first aspect, and the areas which are available and that they need much care. And the second one is about how to utilize those potentials in tourism aspects. And based on this, I'm quite sure in the near future we'll embark on identifying, forcing the hotspots in the states, as well as deploying more forces in the relevant areas.
I have come to him to brief him on how we can go on about the protection of our animals and how we can utilize this in the area of tourism. And indeed, our discussion.
Government has reopened correctional facilities, including juvenile section at Malakal